This was the beginning of Biden's swan song on the global stage. And ahead of next week's G20 meeting, it was his last chance to meet privately with his Chinese counterpart. Joe Biden said in this meeting, "These conversations prevent miscalculations, and they ensure the competition between our two countries will not veer into conflict. Competition, not conflict. That's our responsibility to our people, and as you indicated, to the people around the world." And Xi Jinping said, China-U.S. relations are critical not only to the interests of the Chinese and American people, but also for the destiny of all of humanity. The two countries should bear in mind the well-being of their people and the common interests of the international community. The relationship between the U.S. and China, the two biggest economies in the world, is complex and full of challenges. Issues include disputes over territory in the South China Sea, China's growing military, its indirect support for Russia in the Ukraine conflict, accusations of Chinese hacking, and ongoing trade problems. Despite these issues, both Joe Biden and Xi Jinping agree that the world is heading into a period of uncertainty. Xi calls this a time of turbulence, with the new U.S. president promising to put heavy tariffs on many countries, especially China. Xi is presenting himself as a supporter of global cooperation and unity, unlike the one-sided protectionist approach. APEC members, who represent nearly 60% of the world's GDP, are unsure what to expect from Trump this time, given his past stance against multilateral agreements. China says it wants a smooth transition in its relationship with the U.S. However, even though President Biden may try to make this transition easy, the future is mostly out of his control. With Trump returning to the White House, there will likely be new diplomatic tensions. Trump's strategy often involves being tough from the start to get what he wants from allies or rivals. This could lead to security clashes with China, trade conflicts, and even efforts by China to push for a new global currency and a shift in the international economic system. Trump's team includes people like Elon Musk who want better trade ties with China. The Chinese now have a good understanding of Trump and may prefer to strike a deal with him. Instead of long negotiations, China might find a way to avoid most of the trade conflicts by coming up with a solution that benefits both countries. Since the U.S. and China depend on each other economically, there's a chance that things could start off tough, but eventually ease with a trade agreement. However, it's still going to be a bumpy road ahead. The goal of the Biden administration was to assess its ongoing efforts to manage the rivalry between the U.S. and China. U.S. officials aim to enhance military-to-military communication and collaborate on projects like Sentinel, artificial intelligence, and climate initiatives. However, as William noted, the key focus of these meetings often centers on areas where China and the U.S. disagree, with Taiwan being the most prominent issue. Last month, China's military conducted exercises simulating a blockade and assault on Taiwan following a speech by Taiwan's new president, whom Beijing considers a separatist. According to U.S. officials, any conflict involving Taiwan remains the biggest threat to both U.S. interests and global stability. Additionally, Biden planned to address China's support for Russia's defense sector, which is helping Russia continue its military actions in Ukraine. More urgently, U.S. officials raised concerns about a Chinese cyber attack on American telecom companies, resulting in stolen customer call data and the compromise of a phone belonging to an advisor of President-elect Trump. They also claim that Chinese hackers infiltrated systems used by law enforcement agencies. Despite these serious issues, U.S. officials did not anticipate any major resolutions during the talks. During their meeting today, Xi told President Biden that China's goal of a stable, healthy relationship with the U.S. is unchanged following the presidential election. Xi said he is, quote, ready to work with the incoming Trump administration and to, quote, manage differences to benefit both nations.